Hey YouTube, the Putman on behalf of Cardfight Coast. Today we will be looking at our top 5 grade 3s without limit break. This is our personal opinion, what our favourite ones are, so no need to get all personal about them. But to start off with, we're going to go with my top 5. So here we go. At number 5, I'm going to kick off with Juggernaut Maximum. I never used a Spike Brother clan at all, but this card is special to me for nostalgia reasons, as this was the first card we see in the anime, the first ever episode, and you just see this big muscle of flesh or whatever he was. We had no idea. I thought it was a zombie at first, just running and just tackling dragon and dragon knights. So he's my number 5. Again, I think he's pretty good. I think he's more good on rear guard than he is an actual vanguard, but anyway, I'm going to move on to number 4. My number 4 is Soul Saver Dragon. I did dabble a bit in the Royal Paladins. I never got round to using this card, because back in that day I think I already had one of this particular card, which I think for some reason I think it was a bit overpowered back in the day, which was you can guarantee getting its special ability up when using Barkle to help get you out Lou and Flogal's Superior Cord and Blaster Blade, you know, to get those 5 cards into your soul, which was pretty cool, and I do kind of like the artwork, so that's got that going for it. So number 3 is the card that started me off in the Vanguard. It would be Draconic Overlord. Again, playing nostalgia card. My first troll deck was Kagro, big shocker. Anyway, I really love this card. It's been my avatar since I started. I'll throw one into any deck I build just for nostalgia. You know, its ability, I loved its ability. It was my first time ever pulling Alpha a special ability. A Counter Blaster 3, gain 5 foul, losing your twin drive, but every time you retire a rear guard, it'll stand back up. If you're lucky, you would get 3 checks out of this guy. But anyway, yeah, my favourite card, and only at number 3. What's left to come? We're going to move on to number 2. Number 2 is CEO Amaterasu. Again, I never played with Oracle Think Tank much, but just the fact that it was one of the first cards I saw that had multiple abilities, knowing that you can get an extra 4 foul with 4 greater cards in your hand. You know, soul charging, and also getting to look at the top card of your deck. I found that I thought that was really quite handy and also interesting. But what makes me laugh though is its Mega Blast. If this unit attacks hits, I don't think it even has to be Vanguard. It can be anything as long as the attack hits. You do a Mega Blast and you get 5 cards. You know, guard for days maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I do like it. It was quite good. Actually, Amaterasu was the first triple rare I ever pulled from a booster pack, which there you go, another history of the day. And my number 1, if you guys didn't see it coming, you should be ashamed. My number 1 has to be Draconic Overlord The End. My first cross ride, the first actually one of the first cards I even took to a competitive tournament was that build of cross riding, and I'll never forget the day I saw it. It reminds me a bit of Gallantmon Crimson mode, with the whole armor and wings going on for it, but just knowing it's got 2 swords, 2 guns as well, I'm lost for words now. It has been one of my favourite cards for a long time, and even though, yeah, I'm ambling on now. So anyway, that has been my top 5. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'm going to pass you on to the rest of my teammates to let you hear what they got on their list. So, as always, I've been the Putman. Thank you, and well, I hope you enjoy the rest of this video.
Hello YouTube, this is Shuken of Cardfight Coast. How are you all doing? Today I'm bringing you my top 5 grade 3s without limit break. Now to start things off, I'm going for the original, the classic Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha. Why, you ask? When I was growing up I watched Power Rangers because I was a kid. I liked things that transformed, and Zords were amazing, and it's just generally so cool. And the quote as well, a combination that breaks the limit, Great Justice Sword. Before limit break is even breaking the limits. How cool is that? As for the ability, a little bit hit and miss, but hey, it's Dayusha, who cares? Now, on to my number 4. We've got Skywitch Nana of the Oracle Think Tanks. Now, many of you probably haven't heard of this card. It's back in Rampage of the Beast King, just a rare card, probably looked over by many of you. But the reason I like this is because I make budget decks. I make things as cheap as I can because I do not like to spend money if I can at all help it. Generally, I'm just a tight-fisted git, but never mind. But the reason for this is it can make 13k. It can hit crosswise, and it can hit just general units, or 11k units on rearguard if you just don't have a soul. And this is Oracle. How easy is it to lose a soul in that? And yeah, that's about it for Nana. Plus she's kind of cute with the glasses, but it's a card. Who hasn't got a card crush? Anyway, swiftly on. We're going on to number 3 with Bladewind Raiji. Now Raiji, he lacks the power, but he does less kick-ass artwork. And the 2 crit's quite nice, but hey, what can you do? For Dark Irregulars, it's a fun old card. Increases your soul by a bit, especially if you know what you're aiming for. Or things like Dimension Creeper, or if you want going for any of the demon vehicles, you're just laughing with this. And just generally swing, keep on swinging, you're going to get through eventually, and you can just laugh at people and lock them at 3 damage. Okay, and now number 2, we're going for Phantom Blaster Overlord. Ever since I saw this card when it first came out, I was in love. It is a black dragon of death. The quotes are, abandon all hope, for I am blacker than darkness and a fate worse than death. I mean, oh, that just tingles me. Second quote, close your eyes, all you can see is despair. When I see this card, if I was facing this card, I would completely freak out. That would be pretty much my death there. But hey, what can you say? Cost-wise, its ability is very, well, I'm not going to lie, its ability isn't great. It's a standard cross ride, can plus 3, and Persona Blast to give 10k and a crit. Back in the day it was lovely, but now just break ride, you're laughing about the same thing. But just going back to the artwork, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous card, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. And finally, number 1, we're going for Stern Blauluga. However you say that, I can't pronounce it, but I do not care. Ever since I first saw Gundam Wing on Toonami, may it rest in peace, I fell in love with Gundams, and this card just personifies a Gundam straight there. When I see it, I actually think of the Strike Freedom, but that's a different story completely. Its ability, it's just your standard second generation ride chain, 1000k if you've got Blauluga in the soul. But its second ability, this should have been a limit break, and the fact they haven't done it, I both love Bushy Troll and hate them for at the same time. Fighting it is horrible, playing it is hilarious. Abilities count plus 2, discard 2 Nova Grapplers, and when this attack hits, you stand it and the unit behind it. It loses Twin Drive, who cares, you get something like Dancing Wolf behind that, and you are just going to be making numbers all day long. It is such a pretty card, it's such a cool effect. And this was the first card I actually saw and got. Well, I got a friend to get me, but never mind, that's a different story. And the quote, blow away the galaxy, Stern Blitzen. Ever since I heard their attack name, I have just loved this card to pieces, and with the recent support they've been getting in the Blouse series, well, it's going to go straight back in the deck again. Now, YouTube, thanks very much. This has been Shooken of Cardfight Coast, and I hope you all have a great evening. Catch you all later.
Hello there from Cardfight Coast. This has been Cal, and I'm going to be doing a top 5 grade 3s without limit break. Okay, number 5, Star Vader Francium. Skill is Counterblast 1 when this unit attacks. You may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gains 3k until the end of the battle. This was my first 21 row experience since it's in the original starter set, and it made me conscious of my counterblasts as well in the long run, because usually I found myself burning through so many. And number 4, Schrödinger's Lion. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you pay the cost, if you have a Link Joker Vanguard, this unit gets 2k until the end of the battle. I like this one because it's in reference to the Schrödinger's cat experiment. Pretty much the theory is based around the idea of this cat being put into a box, and there's also poison in there as well. But some idea of quantum mechanics, a theory that we don't really know if the cat is alive or dead, since we can't see inside the box or like hear anything that's going on in there. Yeah, pretty much it looks like a friggin' badass as well, which is awesome. Soundless Archer Conductance at number 3. She's not in any of my builds at the moment. Haven't really had a chance to put her in yet. As she was released fairly recently. She reaches about 14k due to her drive checks. Also just pretty damn sweet because she reminds me of Bayonetta, which is pretty awesome. At number 2, we got Catastrophe Stinger. When your grade 3 Link Joker is placed on the Vanguard circle, this unit gains 10k until the end of turn. This is my first one that convinced me to use more stands in my decks. Really enjoyed this one, especially with alongside break ride skills, and then all kinds of crazy locks and that sort of stuff. It's made it pretty funny that by the end of it they'll be aiming for my rear guard rather than my Vanguard in crazy late game situations. It was hilarious back in those days. Right, and at number 1, Innocent Blade Heartless. Its skill, Counterblast 2. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock them. Also, when he attacks a Vanguard, he gains 3k until the end of battle. Absolute personal favourite, this one, because he was used in my first Limit Breakless build. After I pretty much got pretty much when I was set up to be left at 3 damage against a Dark Regular deck, and pretty much I was just powerless and didn't have self damages at the time. I was like, oh well, might as well just play around with this and see what happens. And it has genuinely worked in the past, which is pretty funny. So yeah, that's my top 5 favourite grade 3s without limit break. Big surprise though on Link Joker, since I know it's friggin' awesome and have some things to do with science and astrology in there. So yeah, goodbye from Cardfight Coast. My name's Mikkel, and that's me done.
YouTube, it's Darby from Cardfight Coast. I'm here today with my top 5 grade 3 non-limit breaks. I've only been playing for the last 3 months myself, and I was introduced to Nova Grapplers, so I've been Nova Grapplers pretty much all the way. In 5, I've got Beast Deity Azure Dragon. With its skill, it's 11k base. You can choose a card, Beast Deity Azure Dragon, hand and discard it. When it hits the Vanguard, I can pay the cost, and I can stand 2 of my rear guards with that skill. So it's not too bad, it's okay. Then
in fourth, I've got Gold Rutile, which when my rear guard hits a Vanguard, I get to choose a card from my damage zone and turn it face up, so that's quite a good plus for any counterblast heavy skill decks. And when he hits the Vanguard, I may pay the cost, which I can use to restand my rear guard. So once again, just keep getting those punches in. Then I've got Mr. Invincible. It's okay, it's a bit random. It's quite a heavy cost with its Mega Blast, but it's standard. When he hits, even as a rear guard, you can restand all my units again. So once again, just throwing loads of punches in there. Yeah, okay. So getting to the Soul Charge bit, it's Nova Grapplers don't really do that, but he's got a scary flip of damage to Soul Charge 1. So it'll take a few turns to get there, but if you can get 3 out in the front row, it's definitely worth it. Then second, I've got Basura Kaiser, which I enjoyed this card due to using it with Death Army setup. You know, just restand my whole field over and over every turn. You can't go wrong. You just feel grade 3 for your drive check. Everything stands, and no counterblast to that skill at all. And my favourite, as being a Blau player, is my Stern Blau Cougar. You can finish the game quite early with this card with its skill, stand back up for 2 if it hits, but you do lose the twin drive, so it does have a drawback. So it's not really worthwhile doing it if you don't hit a crit. You just want to go for that one punch, especially if they're using limit break. Also, it does get a 1k base if you do have Blau Cougar in the soul. So yeah, overall it's a really good card. Just to finish it off before they hit full damage. That's pretty much it, guys. Cheers.
Oh, I want to kill myself.
Hey YouTube, it's Cat with Cardfight Coast. I'm here with my top 5 personal opinion of the greatest grade 3s without limit break. So, number 1 for me is Sakuya, because of the Oracle Think Tank Goddess of the Flower Divination Sakuya. Mainly due to the fact that she was a card that actually got me into the game. Purely because I was at a card shop and I saw the box. It's like, oh my god, it's so pretty! And that's how I got into the game. It's generally how I got into the game. You can ask the putters. My second is Amaterasu, or CEO Amaterasu, because she's one of my favourite cards. It has been since I started playing. It's one of the other things that made me decide to do Oracle Think Tank. Plus I love Misaki. And then loving Misaki leads to the third, which in this case is Goddess of the Full Moon Tsukiyomi. She's got a good ability, she's fun, she pisses people off. I have signed copies. I'm happy. The fourth is actually not an Oracle Think Tank, it is Sword Magician Sarah from the Pale Moon. She's great for me, always used to get off her effect, which annoyed everyone else. And the fifth and final card, which doesn't have limit break, has to be Phantom Blaster Overlord. And for that reason, I will turn to Mikkel. So, why is Phantom Blaster Overlord one of my favourite cards ever?
Just can't handle him, man. Just can't handle him.
He is currently still suffering PTSD.
Such troll.
Anyway, once again, I'm Cat with Cardfight Coast, and see you later.
Take it away, Miguel.
You know, I check, I drive, I check. You know,